Hi interns and welcome to day 8. Excuse me. Okay, so just to get you up, we did get an announcement you probably heard in the local news yesterday on Tuesday the 24th that Governor McMaster of South Carolina has ordered for all schools, public schools, to be closed through April. So originally we were thinking of coming back right after spring break. However, he has extended that closure. So because of that, we are going to, of course, continue to do our Teens Guide to Finding a Job unit and complete the book. And then from there on, we'll continue our lessons virtually and change things up a little bit and get into a unit with Project Search's curriculum and move forward there with our lessons. Since we just found out yesterday, I'm going to need a little time to brainstorm how we'll be completing those activities, but just to let you guys know and families know that schools have been ordered to close in South Carolina through April. So I'll keep you updated. I'm reaching out personally to families if we have any meetings scheduled. And also our graduation, we're currently still keeping that on June 3rd, so that hasn't changed yet. And of course, I'll be in touch with families personally with any other meetings that need to be postponed because of this extended closure. So just want to let you guys know and be aware of that. Now, I do want to continue on to our day 8 with our references and resumes. So here we are today, guys. We're going to read chapter 4 and complete that today, pages 87 to 111. And then we're going to complete the list of references worksheet and start reaching out to those references. And I have a lot of information for you guys to do so. And then, of course, complete that daily employability log as well. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and grab your Finding a Teen's Guide to Finding a Job and join me here where we left off on page 87. We have Carlos and Nikki and some friends here on this page. So yesterday we talked about resumes and we talked about different types of resumes. Kind of explained to you guys how your resumes are listed with skills and are a more functional format of a resume. And then also how it's chronological too, in that our most recent experiences were up top to our most past experiences at the bottom. So just again, we've done our resumes. We've even done our cover letters. So really our activity is going to still continue to center around those references. But we're going to read through here too. There's some do's and don'ts on some of these examples that I think are great little tips. So we're going to go ahead and start reading here on page 87, resumes. So Carlos, Nikki, and Chris are brainstorming their approach to start writing their resumes. The assistance Nikki received from the counselor on completing employment applications helped her better understand the resume writing process. She shares with them important information to consider. Nikki is paying it forward by helping her friends this way. So paying it forward means somebody did something good for you. So in Nikki's case, her counselor helped her with her resume. So when you pay it forward, that means somebody did something good for you. So you're going to do something good for other people too. So she's now helping out her friends. Very cool. So page 88, choosing a format. We've been introduced to the 3 types of resume formats, but which format best suits your situation? The resume format refers to the way content is organized. When choosing, it's important to select the one that will best show off your skills and experience to the employer. Your selection will depend on your career goals, accomplishments, and fit for the employer's needs. The following pages contain descriptions and samples of 3 basic types of resumes. So I like this too. In this chapter, they give us actually visuals of some of these resumes. I always find it's so much easier to complete something like a resume when you have a good example to look at. So it's going to give us that in the book. So remember the chronological resume. The chronological resume features a traditional structure that's most familiar to employers. It focuses on your experience. Begin by listing your current or most recent job first. Give the job title and a detailed description of your duties and responsibilities, along with the company's name and address. This structure is primarily used when you remain in the same type of work or have been steadily employed for a number of years. It shows advancement in a career field and includes impressive titles of previous jobs. It also directly communicates your purpose, past achievements, and probable future performance. If you have work experience in the field you're applying for and your job title shows progress, this format is recommended. However, it won't really work well for teens looking for their first jobs, nor anyone with a patchy, that means not really consistent work history. Someone who changes jobs or career fields frequently. Once you have a steadier work history and are looking for similar jobs, you may wish to change your format. So this chronological resume is something like my resume would be a chronological resume because it shows several years of experience in the educational field. So from substitute teacher to elementary teacher to high school teacher and to project search instructor. So it shows various experiences in the same field that I have of teaching. So when you gain experience in being a server, working for a hotel in the hospitality and tourism industry, any of these, if you continue with those similar experiences, a chronological format may be something you'd want to move to in the future. So here's some advantages. Advantages are good things about a chronological resume. The chronological resume may appeal to older, more traditional employers and becomes the best choice for jobs in conservative fields. This format makes it easy for a hiring manager to see what you accomplished in previous jobs. Excuse me, I'm getting that silly nose itch again I always get when I start recording. So, apologies. The chronological resume format, it showcases growth in skills and responsibility, shows off promotions and impressive job titles, can indicate loyalty to an employer as well. Now, here's some disadvantages. Disadvantages are not so good things. Because it can be difficult to highlight what you do best, this format is rarely appropriate for teens looking for their first job, making a career change, or entering a new field. It might emphasize gaps in employment. That means a year or so where you weren't working. That's questionable. The employers will be like, what were you doing during that time and what was going on there? Highlight frequent job changes. Emphasize employment but not skill development. Show lack of related experiences and career changes. Point out demotions. That's like the opposite of a promotion. That means a promotion is when you get a better title. A demotion is when you kind of go down on the list of promotions. And career setbacks. It's best used by teens who have a steady work record, experience that relates directly to the position they are applying for, a strong, solid work history related to the job and industry, and impressive, well-known companies as ex-employers. So, overall, by listing your most recent work experience first, these styles provide a comprehensive summary of your work, history, education, and accomplishments in reverse chronology. Be sure to provide clear job titles, employer, company names, and dates of employment. A sample of a chronological resume follows on the next page here on 90. So, here's what I'm looking at right here on page 90, the sample of a chronological resume. So you see here, I'm going to point out a few things that's similar with most resumes. How the personal information here is up at the top. Objective, I don't love this objective. It just kind of is like, a certain position. You want that strong statement sentence there. Looking for, seeking employment as. Education's up at the top because that person's highlighting a lot of information there. Work experience, and then those different responsibilities in each of those. I kind of like ours better, I'll be honest. All right, functional resume. This is one ours is most similar to. Page 91. The functional resume highlights and organizes your skills, accomplishments, interests, and strengths to support your career objective by grouping them into categories. This format enables the reader to see immediately what you can do without reading the entire resume. The reader then has the luxury or the time to scan the resume by reviewing the categories listed. It also helps an employer make a faster hiring decision based on seeing skill areas that highlight your aptitude and potential. So some advantages of a functional resume. The functional resume will help you jumpstart your employment history or reach a new career goal or direction. This format is highly recommended for teens with minimal work experience. It supports highlighting your educational experience and skills acquired through areas of your life such as school activities, volunteer work, academic projects, athletic involvement, recreational activities, classroom work, and projects done in social or civic organizations. So, the functional resume format. It emphasizes skills rather than work history. It allows the writer to focus on relevant experience. Organizes a variety of experience, paid and unpaid, and other activities. It disguises gaps in work history or a series of short-term jobs. It makes it easier to target the resume, relate to your experience to the job. So, some possible disadvantages of a functional resume. This format does not reveal what the applicant did in each job, the employer name or job titles. That may be viewed negatively by conservative interviewers. It can be viewed with suspicion by employers due to lack of information about specific employers and dates. Not emphasize or make it important the growth in job titles. Failed to connect skills, accomplishments with specific situations in the case of multiple jobs. Require extensive background work or knowledge of job and employer. It's best used by teens who have limited to no work experience, gaps in employment, developed skills from volunteer experiences, and other areas that help them qualify, frequently change jobs. Here's a sample resume on page 93. So again, that personal information right up here, the objective, and then it's very vague. It just talks about sales. So it just basically is listing the area that they worked in. Doesn't really give a company name, which I really don't love. I like how on ours we put, embassy suites and different, vocational rehabilitation, accessibility, and all that stuff. So there's an example of a functional resume. I still like ours better. Right? Still think we did. All right, and then lastly here, the combination resume on page 94. The combination resume includes elements of the chronological and functional formats. This format may be exactly what you need if you want to enter a new career field with minimum transferable skills. So if you're making like a career change, a career shift in your career. To best show your qualifications, be sure to stress your accomplishments and skills and include your work history. This is the perfect resume for someone with work experience who wishes to change their job in a related career field. It's also good for a teen looking for education and work experience to qualify him for him or her the job. So this is when we have that strong educational experience too. That is something specific jobs are going to require. So some advantages. The combination resume maximizes the advantage of both formats. I don't know why I'm messing that up. Of both formats, chronological and functional. So again, just the good things. Highlight most relevant skills and accomplishments. De-emphasize employment history in less relevant jobs. Combine skill development in a variety of jobs or other activities. Minimize drawbacks such as employment gaps and absence of directly related experience. So some disadvantages. This format tends to be longer than the other two. Information could be repetitious. That means the same information over and over and over is listed in both the functional areas and work history section. It's best not to list detailed descriptions in the work history section, only the basic information needed. Simply tell the reader the places you've previously worked, including the job title, company name, address, and dates employed. It can be confusing if it's not well organized, require more effort and creativity to prepare. It's best used by teens who desire to use education and work experience to qualify them for a job. Want to emphasize soft skills and personal qualities such as initiative, dependability, good customer service, etc. Aim to show their ability to grow with a job. Frequently change careers or in transition to a new and different career field. A combination resume follows here on page 96. personal information. So that education went right up there at the top because they're trying to use that there. And then highlights of different skills there. You know I'm going to say it. I like ours better. Because I do. I think you guys did such a good job with identifying your skills, identifying your work-related skills, defining your objectives, those work experience, and those training hours. And you guys put in so much work with that. And again, I think those are really great. I would, again, most likely refer to ours as a functional resume that highlights your functional abilities and experiences. And then also, I like it because we put more detail than they did in their functional. So let me know if you disagree. We can always go back and change your resume because I remember how fun that was. Not. All right. Page 97. Resume guidelines. The following are general guidelines for writing your resume. The information may vary slightly according to profession, your job, situation, or geographical location where you live. So resume essentials. So these are just apply to all resumes, no matter what type of resume you have. These are things that apply to all resumes. Links should be limited to 1 page, but not exceed 2 pages. I talked to you guys about this. Right now, where you're at in life right now, your resume should be 1 page. When I was your age, it was just 1 page. Now, because I've been in the workforce for longer than I want to admit, my resume is 2 pages, right? But you're not in your mid-30s like Ms. Carr is. You know, you're a young teen right now, so stick it to 1 page for quite a while until you really start getting a lot more experience. That's good experience because you want to always keep your resume updated and valid, and anything that, you know, wasn't so important, you can just take those off, put another job experience you've had in there to make that longer. And, you know, it really should be a while until our resumes become 2 pages. I think just last year, when I updated my resume for this position for Project Search, is when I went ahead and made mine 2 pages. So stick to 1 page right now. Margins, that's a space. Let me show you a piece of paper. Margins are like the space on the page. So like from the end of the page to where the words start. There's typical margins for that. It should be approximately 1 inch. That's the standard with a lot of the Google Docs. So leave plenty of white space to be easy to read. So make sure it's easy to read. Font size should be no larger than 12, but no smaller than 10. You want to use those conservative, so we're not using like Comic Sans or using those crazy script. Not crazy, I mean they're cool, but crazy cool scripts, you know, fonts. You're using just the, you know, the boring Times New Roman and Arial and such. We all did that as well. Align the justification to the left. Use black ink. It's on a computer, so yeah, just don't change the font to yellow or something. Keep it black. Make layout easy to follow and information easy to locate. Check, we did that. Make it appear neat, clean, and error-free. We did that. Weight of paper should be 20 to 25 pound bond. Love that. Okay, I'll just explain what that means. Remember how I brought that resume paper in and how it was a little thicker? Some of you are like, oh, I thought it, you know, was like stock paper. It's not that thick, but it is a little thicker than just your average sheet of paper, copy paper. I brought that in. Remember, it was like that beige color. You can get like a beige or ivory, or you just regular white. But that resume paper can just be found at like Staples or an Office Depot or something. Okay. Envelope and cover letter paper should match the resume. So whatever paper you used for your resume, use the same one for that list of references and also your cover letter. Okay. Sorry, it's such a beautiful day outside. I just keep looking out there. All right, resume content. Show responsibility and results relating to the needs of the company. So we did a lot of experiences where, you know, we show that responsibility. Give examples of accomplishments and ability to solve problems. Show statistics and numbers if you can. Be honest, positive, and specific. We've talked about both of how important it is to be positive and honest in our resumes. Use category headings: objective, work experience, education, training, honors, and awards. This will make your resume more pleasing to read. Avoid being wordy and using abbreviations. Use action verbs and be brief. Include volunteer experience, language proficiency, internships, and certificates that relate to the position. Research the company and know what information would impress and the decision makers. Use industry terminology, be accurate with your information, and make sure you use correct spelling and grammar. So general tips. Write on your resume. Do not hire a resume writing service. It is costly and may seem insincere. Normally, these services do not customize the resume, so the writing appears mass-produced. Okay, that's fine. We did write our own resume. Moving on to the next bullet. Have a family member or friend proofread your resume. That also occurred. I emailed your resumes to a parent for them to proofread, along with myself. Do not mass mail resumes, so don't email your resume to a lot of the different employers. Do individual emails. Customize your resume to match the job you're applying for. We've talked about that with the objective. Use your resume to prepare what to say during the interview. So look over, that's why it's so important to have that resume when you go to that interview, because not only is it there to provide to the potential employer, but it's there for you to also look at it during interviews. And that's our next chapter. We get tongue-tied and we get nervous sometimes. Everyone does, but that's why that resume is there, so you can look down and pick up some of those words and pick up some of the experiences that they're asking you about. It's like guided notes. It's like being able to use your notes during a test. Use a computer to produce your resume. If you don't have a computer, go to libraries, schools, or local job service centers. Take extra copies of your resume. So you just don't want to take one copy. You want to have several when you go in for the interview. When your job search or go to an interview, it's possible you could interview with more than one person. I've had interviews where I've had as many as 5 people in that interview. So, I don't want to freak you out. You're probably going to have 5 people like I did, but you will, sometimes have 2 managers, maybe a manager and a supervisor. So just bring extra copies of those resumes. And page 99, never provide names of references on your resume. So that whole reference list that we're working on right now, we're not putting this on our resume. Typically, it's references are available upon request, and that's going to be a whole separate sheet. Okay, so the book gets into writing a federal resume. Whew, so I don't think this applies. I've read through it, and we have a long enough way to go here to page 111. So if you don't mind, I am going to skip from page 99 to page 104, right here. Writing a cover letter. So please skip. Join me on 104. I feel sorry for anybody who's not following these videos and just reading by themselves, because we skipped it. Okay, here we are. Writing a cover letter. So our cover letter, we've already done that as well. That's in your Google Drive. That was that one paragraph that we summarized the work experience that we want, why we want that work experience, and what skills we have for that work experience. We put your information up at the top. Remember, you even signature and signed it in the ones that we printed out. So you do have those cover letters in your Google Drive. If you need me to get it to you, let me know. I have access to them as well. So let's talk about those cover letters. The cover letter plays an important role in the job search process. It adds a personal touch to your resume and shows employers you're a serious and professional applicant. So typically, you can have your resume file, and then you can have that cover letter and resume together when you present that to the employer. Excuse me. When done properly, your cover letter can increase your chances of getting an interview and strengthen your ability to compete for jobs. A well-written cover letter demonstrates your communication and organization skills and shows that you're the type of person who's willing to go the extra mile. Not everyone does a cover letter. Some people just do the resume and stop there. Well, boom, if you're the person, we all went above and beyond there. We did the resume and the cover letter. So we got that extra piece there that does go above and beyond. So use it. Your cover letter can give you another edge over other applicants because it describes how your specific skills and accomplishments qualify you for the job. So, 3 basic techniques for writing a cover letter. Just like the resume, tailor it to fit the job you are wanting, what employer is requiring. So, if you need to change that objective, you probably need to go back and change the some wording in your cover letter as well to match which job you're applying for. So please keep that in mind. Before you start the writing process, review the criteria for the position, the information for the position, or the requirements for a position, and make a list of what the employer wants. It may include specific areas of expertise, technical knowledge, transferable skills, and or personality traits. Put those items in your letter to demonstrate you have the desired qualifications. Creatively describe in the letter how you can meet the employer's needs. Number 2, market yourself, which is what you're doing really through this whole job search process. Market yourself. Tell the employer why you should be hired. Be assertive about remember we talked about assertive communication, clear and calm communication, about your qualifications, about those things you have, but not egotistical, so you're not coming off bragging or a little braggadocious. I don't think I've had students do that, but I don't think any of our group here does. So just make sure you're assertive and really just focus on being confident about the skills you have. One of the best ways to judge your letter is to read it aloud. Make sure you're not tripping over any of your words. Revise it until it flows naturally and has a conversational tone. So remember, this is a letter. It's different than a resume. So it's something you could honestly just read. And it could be something very easily that not only you read, but you're just saying to an employer. So go back and read those cover letters. If you forget what it says, go back and read it. See if you can read that naturally and organically, and it sounds good to you. And the number 3, keep it simple. You have many options for formatting this letter. If you're unsure, review business books or get advice from a business teacher. Format the letter as flush margins. Refer to the sample letter in this chapter. Limit to 1 page, 3 to 5 paragraphs with 1-inch margins all around. Ours is a little shorter. Ours is only a 1 paragraph, I think maybe 2 paragraph cover letter, which I think is okay as well. But let me know if you want to add to it. We certainly can. So it gives you a little outline of what should be in each paragraph. So they do go a little bit more into detail than we did with our cover letters. So it might be something we could circle back around to and add to if necessary. So first paragraph is your introductory paragraph, your objective to get the reader's attention and describe the position you're interested in. So as some examples there, in response to your advertisement, I was referred by. Your second paragraph, this is the body of your cover letter. It's where you outline your qualifications for the position, those that make you the best candidate for the job. Focus on most relevant aspects of your background, such as experience, coursework, grade point average, and your personal and professional traits. Do not repeat what's in your resume. Instead, include information that will catch the employer's attention and compel or make him or her want to read your resume. So here's some examples there. My 2 years of progressive retail experience qualifies me as the best candidate for your position. Okay, I'm currently a recipient of the YMCA Youth Community Award. After reviewing my resume, you will see my qualifications are a perfect match for your cashier position. So you can read that other example there on your own. So that's kind of like the meat of the cover letter. And the third paragraph is a closing paragraph, requesting a meeting or personal interview. Mention that you look forward to hearing from the interviewer, state how you can be reached, and thank the employer for taking time to consider your application. So example could be, I look forward to meeting with you to discuss my qualifications and your job opportunity in detail. I will call at a specific time. Thank you for your time. Or, I believe I can make a positive contribution to so-and-so and look forward to discussing my capabilities in detail. I'm available for a personal interview at your earliest convenience. Thank you for your consideration. Okay, then we have a nice little sample cover letter here on page 107. Okay. Very similar, like I said, to the one we've already done. And when they say paragraphs, you can, when we think of paragraphs, we think back in high school where your teacher was like 3 to 5 sentences or 5 to 6 sentences, whatever your teacher described as a paragraph then. But when we're saying paragraphs here, you see how like some paragraphs are just one sentence. So it's very brief, again, keep it simple. And then we're going to really get into the meat of what our lesson and our chapter has been about with our activities, since we already have done the resume and cover letter. We're going to talk about references now and preparing a reference sheet. I've pretty much already done your reference sheet. You're just filling it out. And so that's what we're going to continue to do. But today we're all about reaching out to references, and that's what we're going to talk about. So there's certain steps you take when getting references. And we're going to go through these steps. So on page 108, if you haven't listened to me all day, perk it up, because this is really, really going to be helpful for our activity. The reference sheet is needed for the employer to both verify background and employment information and get an objective view of your character and work traits. So, book says, first, identify at least 6 people. I'm only asking for 5. See how nice I am? So identify at least 6 people who can speak positively about your character, work value, and ethics. 3 of the 6 individuals you should know very well. They should be very familiar with your long and short-term career goals, knowledgeable of your educational aspirations, goals, and aware of the progress you have made towards your goals. You will be using them as your personal references, so choose wisely. The other 3 individuals should be able to speak about your professional self. They should be aware of your career and educational experiences. They should be able to speak of your accomplishments and contributions in the work world, your experience as a volunteer or member of relevant organizations, and your educational successes. Your references should include, or could include, trusted teacher, coach, clergy, or school administrator. Also consider asking an employer who hired you through a vocational program, and certainly any organizations for which you volunteered. Select one with a good reputation you know and trust could be a good reference for you. So that's what the book says. What I'm doing is I'm asking for 5. I think I reared back on that a little bit and put 3 to 5. I'm really hoping for 5. Really, really, really hoping for 5, because today I'm going to at least give you 4. So really hoping you can think of that next reference. Now, the book is saying have a personal reference. So that might be something you want to look into. Maybe you have a pastor. Maybe you have an adult you've done some babysitting for. Maybe you have a friend of the family that knows your involvement in the community. Cool. Use a personal reference. But what I'm giving you today, what I'm going to supply for you today is 4 work references. And I think work references are very important. Not that personal references aren't, but I think employers really value those work references as well. So I'm supplying a lot of that information for you today. Good news for you. All right, so once you've selected, so first step is selecting the people. So hopefully we did that yesterday and got some ideas of, okay, so I'm going to use Miss Carr, then I'm also going to use, that might be our counselor. What about Stephanie Gore? Hopefully those things went through your mind yesterday. So we should have the name of those people. If you don't, by the end of today's lesson, you will. Second, all right, so once we know who these people are that we want to be our references, we have to ask permission to use them as a reference. Then those who approve your request, they will, if they feel, they can give you a positive reference. Okay, so once we identified who we want as our reference, we have to ask permission to use them as a reference, because we will be giving potential employers that we're applying for, we're going to be giving out their contact information. So we need to let, Miss Cooper Nesmith and Miss Murdo and Miss Curry know that, hey, we're giving your personal information out here and someone might be in contact with you to ask about my job ethic and qualifications and such. So we need to give our references a heads up. So that's what I'm hoping we're moving towards today and contacting them. Okay, so after you do that, after you contact them, get their permission. I honestly have never had someone I asked for a reference say no. I've asked college professors have said yes. Even I think I even used my brother-in-law one time. So most people are going to say yes, they definitely want to help you. So rarely you might, but you rarely get a no. So once you get permission, third, you give them a copy of your resume for their review and comments. I can help you out with that. Fourth, some of your VR counselors already have your resumes because I've shared them. Fourth step, ask each of your references to review your resume and encourage them to ask any questions if they have any. You want to satisfy their curiosity, answer any questions they have so they can speak with total confidence if questioned by your prospective employer. Inform them of the positions you're applying for. This prepares them if questioned by an employer. So let them know, so-and-so from this place, I just had a job interview. They might be reaching out to you. And that's, of course, you have to have that job interview to then communicate with that reference. Basically, long story short is, once you get permission to use someone as a reference, you want to continually update them on your job search progress so that they know when to expect calls and what job you've applied for, so nothing is basically taken them by surprise. And then 6, show your appreciation. So this is a big step too. If you get, not only if you get hired for a position, but typically if a reference, they called a reference, use the reference, you got the job, you want to make a great impression with those references and just write a simple little thank you note to them. It doesn't have to say much. You can get help writing this, but it just will go a long, long way. So 6, show your appreciation by sending in a thank you note for their support. No matter how close a person is to you, a small gesture showing gratitude puts a smile on their face and a warm place in their heart for you, because you're going to want to continue to use them as a reference. You just don't use them as a reference or like, okay, peace, thanks. You might need them again to help. So really continue to make good relationships, and that's just a great way to do so. So here's the sample reference sheet will look like. So this will be a lot easier for us to build when we get back in the classroom, when we're all together. So what I'm asking you, this is why I'm asking you to complete this reference sheet. So when we do make this document, all that information's right there on this sheet, your reference sheet. Okay, so go ahead and grab this out, grab your list of reference sheets out. And we're going to go ahead and get started on that. I did go to page 111, yes? Yes, I did. Great job. All right. Positive self-talk to myself there. So go ahead and grab out your list of references worksheet. So here I have this. So remember, you should have me first. So full name, my first name, Paula Carr. I am not going to, because we're on the YouTube platform and this is a public platform, I am not going to give you the personal information for myself and the others that I'm about to show you, or our email addresses, because once again, this is going public. So I will be emailing this to you. So this will be, their contact information is going to be in an email. So you're going to have to check those personal emails. I knew we were trying to get around it, but you got to sign into that Gmail account that you made and get that information. If you can't, if you're like, Ms. Carr, I don't know how to get into that Gmail, I don't know my password, please text me, let me know, and I'll text you back that information that you need to complete those contact numbers, okay? But you need those. You need those email addresses, most importantly, because we're going to write some emails to our references, our possible references, okay? All right, so here's what I want you to do. Have a writing utensil, pencil, pen. Maybe pencil would probably be best right now. But I won't judge with pen either. So the first one, you should have my full name, Paula Carr. I'll hold it up again. You should have Charleston County School. If you can fit in district, that's awesome. Charleston County Schools is my company. And then, what is your relationship? Teacher. And then how many years you've known me. Okay, so complete that information. You guys should have my email address and know that. Again, if you do not, let me know. Then I know we all have my phone number because I text you. Okay, so you can fill that out on your own there. The next person everybody can use here is Miss Tiffany Curry. So go ahead and everyone can write Tiffany Curry. I will be sending that contact to Voc Rehab and her email address through email today when I post this lesson. Go ahead and write her company down as Vocational Rehabilitation. I know rehabilitation is a long word. I had trouble fitting it in that one box. Miss Tiffany's title is Job Coach. And then you can put 1 year. I only put that little backslash with the years in case it was several. We've all known Miss Tiffany 1 year, so you can just write 1 year there. Okay, and if you need to pause to catch up with Miss Tiffany and I as your references, then please do so. Otherwise, this is going to now change. You're going to insert your VR counselor assigned. Okay, so Wando, that's Marquita Murdo. For Burke and West Ashley, that's Adria Cooper Nesmith. For Charleston School of the Arts, that's Lakeisha Allen. Okay, so I'm going to hold up their names here in a second. So we're on this third one. So I'm going to hold up the information for each of those VR counselors on our handy dandy whiteboards that I'm sure you guys miss. So this is Adria Cooper Nesmith, Vocational Rehabilitation Job Counselor. So this is for, again, if you went to Burke or West Ashley, pause here and write down her information for that third reference. Wando, get ready, Wando. So many whiteboards. Wando, your counselor. Sorry, I've been stacking them on each other, kind of erased a little bit. Marquita Murdo, Vocational Rehabilitation. Again, job counselor. Go ahead and write her information in as your third reference. Wando students. And then Charleston School of the Arts, you have Lakeisha Allen. So pause here if you need to write hers down. Lakeisha Allen, Vocational Rehabilitation, Job Counselor. I know we say VR Counselor, but we've already written that, so we're just using Job Counselor. Okay, so that's everyone's assigned a VR counselor. So you should have me and my information, Tiffany Curry, her information, and then whichever one of those three I pulled up there, whichever one is your VR counselor, put their information, put their name here. Okay, now I remember you're like, but you're gonna give us one more. Okay, I have, don't worry. All right, the next one, and this is optional. If you don't want to use her, that's fine. I thought some of us might want to use Miss Stephanie Gore from Accessibility. One, because she used to be Wando, she used to be y'all's VR counselor. So you have that extra experience with her. So your years of knowing her are longer than some. So I figured some of us might want to use her just because, you know, you've had a lot of work experience with her. So if you know Stephanie Gore, and if you can see her face and remember her just right off the top of your head, you might be somebody who she's worked with for a while and that you want to use as a reference. Also, I wanted to put Miss Stephanie Gore out there because she's so familiar with Project Search, and she came in and did that 6-week job training with us in the fall. So she could be a reference for all of us. So this is optional. You don't have to use Stephanie if you already have 2 other references you think are stronger and you know better, personal or work. Feel free to use them. I'm just giving you guys options here. So if you want to list a 4th option, could be Stephanie Gore, Her company is accessibility. Okay, so that's what you put under company. And then her title is job skills trainer. So pause there if you want to go ahead and write down that information for Miss Stephanie Gore. Otherwise, for your last reference, because I want everyone to have 5, I really do. It could be a high school teacher. So think about it. Maybe you're like, well, what about, my job coach at West Ashley? She was so great. What about Miss Frost? What about Miss Roberta Ellis? And different high school connections that we have. Yeah, absolutely. Use those. If you don't know their email, please text me their name or email me. I will get their email address. I can find, if they work for Charleston County, I can find their email address. Okay? So think of those high school teachers. Let me know if you need those emails. Think about coaches. If you're in the Special Olympics and have been for a long time, you might want to use one of those coaches. They would be a personal reference. Community leaders, I know it mentioned like clergy, so some of us, are regular attenders of church, someone, a community leader in your church might be a good personal reference as well. And then if there's any managers or supervisors for you that have job experience, those managers or supervisors will be also great work references. So think about that. So just some ideas here of others you can use for this last reference. So again, just to review, you should have me, Ms. Curry, your VR counselor, and then if you chose, Miss Stephanie Gore right here, and then you're getting one more, okay? And hey, if you get more than 5, praise be, that's awesome. You can definitely keep going with that and have, 6, 7 references. Maybe stop at 10. I don't think an employer's really going to make 10 calls to do that. But definitely if you want to have more. If you need their contact information, please let me know. Text me, okay? Ms. Carr, I need contact information for this person. Because we're going to email them. And I have a draft email I'm about to show you. But we're going to email these contacts to ask them to be our reference. Now, heads up, I've already emailed them. Let them know that you should be emailing them. So they're expecting to hear from you. But these VR counselors and accessibility, they're expecting to hear from you, but you still need to officially ask them to be your reference. So here's what I've done. Once you get their email addresses, honestly, if you're able to log into your Gmail that we've been using all year, because of those invites that you've been doing for the employment planning meetings, their email should be on those. So if you can't find them, again, please let me know. Otherwise, we are going to write emails. You guys remember my whiteboard, my daily schedule whiteboard? I brought it back with me. Okay, so before I overwhelm you with this email, what you're going to do is once you have those email addresses, come back to this video, come back to this section. I have an email written out that you'll just have to copy into an email. You can take a picture of it with your phone, screenshot it however you need. But I've already written out a whole email of how you can request them to be a reference for you. So I'm going to show it to you real quick here. So remember, when you're writing an email, you have to have a subject. So you want to put reference requests as your subject in your email. And then in the body of your email, so in your email, here we go. All you have to do is just really pause the video at this point and copy this into an email. So dear, whoever you're asking, dear Miss Curry, dear Miss Cooper Nesmith, dear Miss Allen, right? Dear Miss Murdo, I am currently seeking employment as a... Now, don't write this. Put what job you're looking for. Look at that resume objective. So I'm currently seeking employment as a cashier, a dishwasher, as a custodian. Okay? And am hoping you will provide a reference for me. I believe you can provide potential employers with specific information about my skills. Oops, my alligator clip's covering this up. About specific information about my skills that will improve my chances of getting the job. And this is another paragraph. I didn't really have enough room on my whiteboard, but here's another paragraph. Hit enter. Do another paragraph here. Please let me know if you need any additional information to act as a reference on my behalf. Thank you so much for your thank you so much for considering my request. Thanks again. And then put your full name, first and last name there at the bottom. So this is the email that you will be sending to those employers. Let me know if you didn't get that. I can send it in an email as well to you or a text. So just go ahead and copy that and put it in an email and send it out to those references. Now, question might be, oh, well, Ms. Carr, do I have to ask you? No, you don't have to ask me. I've already told you I want to be a reference for you. So you can just go ahead and start here with an email to Ms. Tiffany Curry, then to your VR counselor, Stephanie Gore, if that's who you put down there, and then your additional reference that you came up with on your own. So that is your activity for today, is writing emails. So if you have any issues writing those emails, please let me know. My office hours are the same, 10 to 11 every day. So let me know if you need any assistance with that. And we are going to be moving on to interviewing. And this is really where we left off in the classroom with interviewing and practicing those. So we'll pick up on that with our day 9. Whew, already. Day 9, chapter 5 with interviews. And we'll look over some different interview questions that we might be asked. So I hope you guys have a great day. If you guys need anything, you know how to reach out to me. And I'll be in contact with about the schedule change that we got that was announced yesterday by the governor, and we'll just keep trying to do our best, stay safe, listen to music, exercise, do those things that make you feel good, play video games, of course, too, but not too much. I've been playing a little Zelda myself, so just be there for their families. Don't forget to do those employability contact logs, folding laundry, cleaning the kitchen, washing dishes, walking the dog, all of those things. Make sure you're doing those as well. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I hope you all have a great day.